Welcome to the first video of section 2 of this video course, Building Blocks of an Angular Application. And in this first video, we're going to see all you need to know about Angular modules. First, we're going to see what are modules, then how modules configure an Angular application, and finally we'll see how we can lazily load some code using modules. So what are modules? In a nutshell, a module is a package of TypeScript objects. So in the case of an Angular application, a module is made up of components, pipes, services, directives, and any number of your own classes. Every Angular application needs at least one module, which is defined in app.module.ts. The main module describes the structure of the application. More specifically, it's where we define how dependency injection will work, and that's also where the specific module configuration will happen. So if we use external modules like a component router or anything that requires some specific config, this is where it will happen. Now the main use case for modules is to use them for specific features. So if you have a complex application with different pieces of code like a dashboard, a login, an admin section, then the idea is you can define specific modules for each of those features that can be shared between different applications. Now let's take a quick look at a typical app module file. Now this is a typical app.module.ts file. As you can see, it's basically an empty TypeScript class, and then we have the @ngModule decorator. And in this decorator, that's where everything happens. We have different sections. First one is declarations and imports, providers, bootstrap, and we could have others. And these different decorators, these different options of the ngModule decorator define what the application looks like. So for instance, the declarations array here defines all of the components of our module. In that case, these are all of the components of my application. Imports is a section where we would list all of the external modules used by our application. In that case, we're going to use the browser module, the forms module, and many others. So every time you need to import code from a third-party application or download on the internet, that's basically where the import would happen. Providers is a section where we define the different services that dependency injection can make available to other components and services in our app. But don't worry, we'll spend more time on that later on during this video course. And finally, Bootstrap defines the main component that's going to be started by Angular when the application loads. Now, just a few words about lazy loading. Lazy loading is a way to load modules on demand as they are needed. It is based on the URL in the browser, and as a result, this can only happen if we use the component router. This is a chapter we're going to cover later on in the training. But for now, just remember that some of the code of our application, some modules of our application, could be loaded lazily on demand as a way to basically cut our app into different pieces and have them downloaded separately. In this video, we learned about modules and how they configure an Angular application.